Hello everybody, Dark Skeleton here, and today we have 3 card reveals to take a look at, starting with the Netherspite Historian, a 2-mana 1/3, very similar to the Priest minion, the Museum Curator, which is Discover a Death Rattle card, where this card is Battle Cry if you're holding a dragon, Discover a Dragon. So pretty comparable there. Obviously, it's a downside to have a dragon in a hand to get the effect, and it's a bit of an upside to gain 1 extra HP on the 2-drop. Maybe not as relevant as maybe having 1 extra attack to ensure better trades, but as a 2-mana card, if you're going to be playing a dragon deck, obviously Discover a Dragon is pretty good. The Museum Curator did see quite a bit of play, just based on being a really weak 2-drop that got you to discover a minion that can be pretty good for later on. So in the same way, Netherspite Historian, it's kind of a slow card, but it is pretty solid in dragon decks. I mean, adding an extra dragon, the dragon that you do happen to need in your specific matchup, is pretty good. Now, whether this will be very specific to Dragon Priest or not is kind of yet to be seen. They are adding some more dragons like the Bookworm, so Dragon Synergy may be a bit stronger in the Karazhan set than it's been a little bit previous, so it might not just be really Dragon Warrior that gets played. We might see Dragon Priest be pretty good again. We might see Dragon Paladin as a possibility. I don't think that's been too far off from being a decent deck so far. So this is really cool to see, and remember, it is a neutral minion, so that means you can play it in any deck. You just have to have a lot of dragons for it to be worth it, but I mean, that's the whole idea of building a dragon deck to begin with, right? Okay, next 2 cards. Moonglade Portal. For 6 mana as a druid spell, restore 6 health and summon a random 6-cost minion. So, random minions tend to be crappier than, like, putting a good, solid, constructed minion in your deck. So, it's not like, oh, you get Sylvanas every time. Like, sometimes you might get something like the Priestess of Elune, which is like a 5/4 that restores some number of health to your hero, like 4, but without even getting the Battle Cry effect. Yeah, so it's not just that you'll get slightly weaker minions, but also that you'll never get to use the Battle Cry effects. That said, in exchange you're getting 6 health, and you're getting to play it as a spell, which can be relevant for weird things like Joust. So it is basically playing like a 4.5 or 5-cost minion, rather than a 6-cost minion, a premium one like Sylvanas or Cairn, or Emperor Karazhan. Is that going to be worth it for the effect of restoring 6 health? And I think the answer to that is sometimes. It's kind of similar to the Firelands portal, where if you actually add in what you're really getting from the effect, it's kind of equal in its mana cost, but you're kind of combining 2 cards in one. So this is almost like just combining playing a regular 5-drop and playing a Healing Touch in the same card. So you could argue, hey, that's worth more than 6 mana. And yeah, it kind of is if you get the full effect off of that quote-unquote healing touch. Sometimes it's not really going to come out as good as you expect, and sometimes it will be really good. But on average, it's pretty okay. I don't really think this is going to be like a game-breaking card or anything like that, but it may see some play. Random 6-cost minions aren't too bad, and sometimes you do get Sylvanas plus a heal, and that will be really good, of course. In Arena, though, I think this is going to be a really good card. Because, for one thing, all the minions in your deck are basically already random cards, and getting a 6 health restoration on top of that is really important, especially in Arena. That could mean the difference between your minion going 2 for 1 and going 1 for 1, and every extra card value you get in Arena usually tips the game in your favor, since it's all a value game. So, good Arena card, maybe decent in Standard. I think what you would play it in would be something like a Yogg Druid, because A, it's a spell, B, the healing helps you sustain yourself, and thirdly, a 6-cost minion or 6-cost card kind of fits into the curve of ramping up towards something like Yogg. So, in that kind of deck, I could see it being a one of, at least. Okay, Fool's Bane. I think this is the most interesting card for today. 5 mana, 3/4 warrior weapon, unlimited number of attacks each turn. Obviously, only while you have the weapon equipped. Can't attack heroes for balance purposes, of course. Otherwise, it would be 12 damage straight to the face. Oh man, could you imagine? What I kind of see this card as is like a board clear, something akin to a Flame Strike. If you play this for 5 mana and you swing it 4 times to hit 4 weak minions on your opponent's side of the field, it's kind of like you paid 5 mana for a 3 damage Flame Strike, with the downside that you actually take damage for all of those minions that died. But as a warrior, you can really afford that. Warriors sometimes get too much armor where they don't need more armor, they need an ability to remove stuff off the board. So in a control-based deck, I think Fool's Bane actually would be pretty dang solid. If I actually recall from the Karazhan instance, wasn't Fool's Bane a tank weapon? I think it was originally, so that's the whole idea there. It's kind of cute that it has Wind Fury, and one thing to note about this card is that, as I understand it, if you happen to have something equipped already, like a Gorehell or a Arcanite Reaper, you swing that, your weapon breaks, you could immediately equip this and get up to 4 more attacks and on the same turn. So it's not that you only get the attacks when you equip this. Well, I mean, you do get the extra attacks when you equip this, but you can synergize that with having another weapon equipped and using up the last charge. I think that will be relevant sometimes, actually. You know where this is actually going to be insane? This is the real synergy here. Play this with Heroic Strike. It becomes a 7/4 weapon. And then you can just obliterate the rest of the board for 7 mana. Like a 7 mana, 7 damage Flame Strike. That's basically what we're talking about. Would this be good enough to make Heroic Strike a combo with this card and actually be played? I think it might, actually. Because Heroic Strike is already deal 4 damage for 2 mana, and that's pretty good removal, in all honesty. I just think, in general, like, Warrior already has so many tools that it kind of pushes cards like that out. But if your Heroic Strike is getting 4 times the value, basically Heroic Strike to deal 16 damage to minions, I think that would justify a copy of Heroic Strike in the deck. If you're going to be playing like 2 copies of Fool's Bane, maybe you play your Heroic Strike in there just for like the premium board clear when you just want to annihilate everything on your opponent's side of the board. But maybe that's way overkill, I don't know. But that is a cool synergy that actually does work. So that's going to be the card reveals for today. I've been Dark Skeleton. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll have future card reveals in the days to come. So thanks for watching. Peace, guys.